Hello dear users, in the follow-up to the project center topics on Adobe XD software, we get to a website project that, as you see over here, I have designed this project once already, but we are going to get to know how to design such a web application over again. As you see, it is a shopping app that consists of different sections, and we have adhered to the causation rules. It consists of different sections. Here we are dealing with a certain product, the Apple AirPod in this case. And as you can see here, we have the picture of the project up there. We have the menu. We have the order now item where we can do our ordering, and the logo that is a text and not graphical, and the other sections such as the background that has been set up here, the greatest specifications, where we will be dealing with the detailed and most important specifications. You have the hardware specifications of the product here. As you see here, we don't have a linear gradient background anymore. All these items, as you can see, have been designed one by one. Over here, the linear gradient, of course, when I said we don't have linear gradient, I meant that only specific items are using it. And as you see over here, we don't use any linear gradient. We are only using the solid color, and the sections that have been designed over here. In the features, we are using a series of elements with appropriate shadows. If you pay attention over here, here you can see how the shadow has been applied. Of course, the items that has been set here, as it is apparent, here we have performed the operations for shadow in a much more exciting manner. And as you see here, this color has been used with the blur level of 40. And finally, the rest of the items that have been set up like this using a linear gradient. We have designed an integral background on different sections of the site, and the FAQ, the frequently asked questions section, has included a series of features here. If there is any specific questions and answers, by clicking on each one of these, we can see the items one by one and observe their features. And in the lower section, we have the AirPod order. And as you see over here, imagine here we would have the select color. We can make the project more exciting so that, for instance, when the user clicks on this item, he can see the coloring for this AirPod. Now we can give a color so that, for instance, when we choose the red color, it is going to show the red colored AirPod. We have the price, the order now button over here, and as you see, there is a background over here. This background, as it was the case with other projects, can easily be set up. We can easily take care of it. And finally, the gallery section of this project, as you see here, that is the AirPods that had a wire and wireless ones. We see the whole features. We have the contact us sections, which contains the full name, email, and detail items. And here we can change the name, and on the bottom we have an item called footer, inside this footer we have a background like this, the AirPod, and some items that have been set up over here that we can see one by one at a time, of course. And another feature of the site is that we have used some pre-made images here. That is the backgrounds that we see as waves have been set up using pictures that we have downloaded, and according to the view we have set up a specific design for our project and taken care of its features. And now we are going to see how we can set up such a design. All right, it is similar to other projects. There is no difference. You just need to be a bit patient to see how we can design them. So stay with me to see how things are going to work themselves out. Okay, as you see here, I have set up a frame based on what we are looking for on our projects, with the same dimensions as the prototype that we have. And here we can start our work. We have the air music section. It is really easy. These are really simple and do not require that much of an effort, but over here I am going to show how they are set up. If we see the grading here, as you see, this is how the layouts look on the surface. One by one the items have been set up here as a 12-row column, and the width of each one has been set at 41, and as you see it goes on to the end. We have tried to move along in a balanced way so that things are performed in a much more cleanly and principled fashion, so that overall we have a good looking app. So I start setting the items here one by one. First we have the air music item here that has been set up here with a size 68 and a bold format that has been applied here using the usual font SF Pro display, our favorite font. Okay, I do it again. Let's see. Okay, I give it a bold size 60. I type music. Okay, here I need to change the color. Alright, here I copy this color. Okay, so that I can paste it here. Okay, very well. I set this on the settings, and here I zoom in a bit so that I see how things are. So if you pay attention, here we have home, about, specifications, and here it has been included here in order to save time. I copy some sections and paste them over here. This section I set them up, but the font that we have here needs to be changed to what I want. But let's see what we got over here. Okay, I copy this. Let me change this item like that. Okay, right. Here I don't want to have a wide spacing, and here I do it in a simple way using the combination keys. Shift L, get it? The font is changed. set up on regular, and finally this one is changed to 0. Okay, now we need to set up their position. This one, okay, needs to be set up exactly here. This item in the same fashion. We need to add a certain space between these items that we have on our hands. I try to set a reasonable space so that it looks elegant. Okay, take care of it very well. Okay, and now I increase the fonts just a little bit so that we won't be running into any problems. And this one is set up here, exactly here, and the button that we have here is moved over here, and order is now set here. We have had lots of examples where the round corner buttons were needed, and here I give it number 250. Okay, and finally I make a copy from one of these. I set it here and set the orientation right. First here, the content, and finally here, like this. I take care of it. Let me move a little bit here, change the order. Now, like this, so that's how it looks. We can here, for instance, make them capital by hitting this button like this, and the uppercase button here. We have lowercase as well, but we want to make it uppercase. I zoom in a bit. I get the object and set this at the center, and now here we get to the next item to see how it is. I set the air music exactly here. So to have kept the necessary space. Okay. Let's see, I just changed the font over here. SF Pro display. And a little bit here. I set this right there on regular. To see how things are done. The next item that we have is a button called Order Now. This button uses linear gradient background to make things faster. At a lot of places we may not need to repeat the coding. That is why here we are saving time by copy and pasting. Okay, I give the linear gradient a number. First I go back here to see how the spectrum of color is. I make a copy from this. I set the A and B here with the color code that we had. Okay, I copy this and paste it on my design. Alright, this is the coloring that I had on my mind, the value of the color code that I have here, the purple value over here. This one is the same. Okay. Okay, if you pay attention, you can clearly see the details. In fact, the spectrum of color is like this, from top left section to the bottom right has been extended. So we need to do the same thing right here. We need to set the blue section Here, this one is set up like this. Here, of course, we need to extend it a bit, like that. Okay, and the order. Now, the item that we set here. Okay, this one is the same. I set this up right there, object content, and apply the changes, and now I change it with this feature. Of course, I need to set the color at white, and the extension is increased a bit. I set it on 140. This type of extension is okay, and we increase the font. I set it on 25, and of course this one is set on the medium. We can have it as regular as well. The regular is more appropriate. There are some other settings that we need to take care of. We don't need a border that is on this design. You won't be having any borders. Okay, so in fact, it was the first step of the work that we took care of. Methodically, we were able to perform the necessary operations. Now we go to the content section here. That is the product that we have here. This is the picture of our products, and here I set this up like that over there. As you can see it here, I have it on my image like this. And now, in order to take care of the background that we have for this item here, if you pay attention, we can incorporate these elements very easily. But if you pay attention, the line here needs to be designed. It uses the linear gradient and the same color spectrum. So before we forget, in the specification section, I set up a line to separate it from other section like this, and the border section that is given these settings. Of course, I increased the size just a bit. I set it in 3 so that I will be able to take care of it. If you pay attention over here, there are many more details that can be taken care of. In fact, what we have done up to this point were just the necessary sections that needed to be taken care of on its own. We have given a linear gradient here, but if you want to see what exactly is here, we can use a line to see what it is referring to. Okay, stay with me with the rest of the work.